Hi YouTube, I'm going to be doing a video today about the top 10 things you must know in Excel. So let's get down to it. The first thing I want to talk about is populating in ascending order. As you can see here on this spreadsheet, it's a great book, possibly for a teacher, or it could be anything. If you have a spreadsheet like this with different names and data. This is a quiz, 3 quizzes, project, and a final exam. And if you want to sort this by last name, it's very important to have this tool in your hands. So the first thing you want to do is click on data, go to sort, and sort by, you want to go by last name, and you can do values, cell color, font color, or cell icon. In this case, we don't have any colors, so we're going to do by values. And we want to sort by A to Z in ascending order, and we can also do Z to A. But in this case, we want to do ascending order. You click OK, and the entire spreadsheet gets sorted by last name. So that's a very important tool to have whenever you're dealing with a large spreadsheet with a lot of information and you want it to be sorted. You can also do ascending order or descending order. It will do the same thing for you. You can click on descending order. This is just very quickly if you want to do that. The next thing I want to talk about is working with selections. So let's say I want to work only in a certain selection. Let's say I want to only sort these 6 items. So what you want to do is highlight these 6 items. You can do sort, and you can do the same thing here. You can click off this check box here, my data has headers, so that it will include this 3. You uncheck that off and that gets included in there, and now you can sort this by values from smallest to greatest, and it will sort it for you. And it didn't sort the rest of the data. Another thing you can do, which is very important when you're dealing with selections, you can select this entire section of your spreadsheet and click on the top. No, don't click, but hover around the top of this selection where you get these 4 arrows. Once you get that, you can click on it and move the entire section to wherever you want to drop it. If you want to drop it here, or click on it again if you want to bring it back up here, you can drop it anywhere you want. So that's a very important tool to have when you're dealing with selections. Another thing I want to talk about that you should know is removing duplicate values. As you can see here on this spreadsheet, we have 2 1s, we have a few 5s, we have more 7s. So let's say you have a spreadsheet that has like duplicate payments, or you have just duplicate numbers and you don't want to deal with that. You want to remove it. The easiest thing to do is to go to data, remove duplicates, and you want to remove all of them in this column, and you click OK, and Excel tells you that there were 9 duplicate values found and removed. 10 unique values remain. So out of those, you only have all these that remain. And because they were already sorted, they're all sorted for you. And if they weren't sorted, you can go back again and sort like this, or sort by descending order. The next thing I want to talk about is adding themes. So let's say you have this table here and you want to add themes to it. What you want to do is you want to go to page layout, click on themes, and Excel gives you all these pre-programmed themes for you, and you can see that if you hover around any one of these, they will be changed for you. And for our presentation purposes, we're just going to go ahead and click any one of these. I'm going to go ahead and click this one, and you can see that you can also change colors if you wanted to. There are different themes and colors: grayscale, blue, warm blue, blue 2. It's very nice. It automatically changes it for you. And so you can do that. You can also change the font. Let's say if you want to do Calibri, Arial, or any one of these, it's very nice. It automatically changes it for you. So these are very important to have, to know whenever you're dealing with a spreadsheet and your boss asks you to change the theme to make it look professional. You can immediately do that. The next thing I want to talk about that you should know in Excel is freeze panes. You go to View, click on Freeze Panes. You can freeze the panes wherever you set your cell in. or you can do freeze top row or freeze first column. In our case, what we want to do is you first have to click on the area that you want to be frozen. So I want everything above here and everything to the left of it to be frozen. So you click in this cell, you can click here, wherever you want. I'm going to click here, freeze panes. So everything above here and everything to the left of it is going to be frozen. As you can see right there, you can move it and it doesn't move for you. And the reason why this is important is because if you had, let's say, headers, and I'm going to remove this freeze panes, I want to put it here now because it makes more sense for me to put it here because I don't want this last name, first name to move. I want to see what I'm looking at, especially if you have a large data and you want to have the headers not to move. You freeze the panes, and as you go down, the last name, first name doesn't move. So that stays constant. This would be important if you had a large data set and you don't want the headers to move. So I'm going to go ahead and unfreeze this. It's very important to know that. Second, another thing I want to talk about is conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is so powerful. Like for example, here you have the spreadsheet. You can't make a lot of sense out of this. There's a lot of information here. So you want to know, let's say, you want to know the top quiz on the first 3 quizzes. You want to know the top people who got the most, top scores. So you want to do the top 10%. So top 10% gives you light red with dark text. You can highlight those. If you want to change the top 10, you want to do top 15%, or you want to do the top 5%. And you can click OK, and it gives you the top 5% of people who got the most in their quizzes. These 2 people got top 5 in the first quiz, and then this person on the 3rd quiz. So it gives you some information about what people got in their quizzes visually. It helps you to see that. Or if you want to do, let's say, the top 10%, again, you can do the same thing, or you want to do 20%, and then you want to change that to a different color. Now you have the top 20%. So this gives you a visual about how people did in your classroom. And if you want to do, let's say, the grade, the final grade, you want to know who received the top 10 in your class or above average. Let's just do top 10. Click OK. Here you know this person was your top 10%, Joanna Paschke, so she got 222. So this gives you a visual about how people did. This person did very good in the first quiz and so-so in the second and third. This person did good the first quiz and then slacked off. So this gives you a very good understanding whenever you look at something. It gives you color coordination of how people did in your class, or it could be any report that you have that you're working with. The next thing I want to talk about is basic math. So whenever you're dealing with formulas in Excel, the first thing you want to do is click equals. You do 4 plus 5 gives you a 9. Or if you want to do, let's say, 2 times 5 gives you 10. And if you want to do equal signs, let's say 10 divided by 8 gives you 1.25. And then if you want to do sum, you can do equals sum this cell. Oops, want to do equals sum, open parentheses, this cell plus this cell. And you hit enter, and it gives you the formula. So every time you change this number here, let's say you want to put 15, this becomes 24. If you change this number to 25, this number changes too. So it's a formula. Anytime you change this, this will change. That's just basic math, and there's a whole bunch of formulas here that you can use. These are some that I've used, and there's financial ones, logical ones. Excel is very powerful when it comes to formulas. The next thing I want to talk about is concatenate. Concatenate is very important when you're dealing with a spreadsheet that has a last name and a first name, and you want this to be on one cell. What you want to do is hit the equal sign and type in concatenate. Hit the tab button, automatically fills it out for you. And what you want to do is click this cell, comma, this cell, and click enter. And you can see here that it brought these names into one cell. And then you hit the plus button down, and Excel automatically fills this out for you. But there's a problem here. As you can see, there's no space in between this last name and first name. To solve that problem, what you want to do is go in the middle here between G5 and H5 and put in an open parentheses, open apostrophe, and then put in a comma, space, close apostrophe, and another comma. So you're telling Excel you want to add a comma and a space between those two names, and you hit enter, and look what it did. Hit this, go to the bottom right corner until you see the plus sign, drag it down, and Excel automatically fills that in for you. And then if you want to open up the column to the largest cell in your spreadsheet, you double click and it expands it for you. So that's very important to know as well. The next thing I want to talk about is an aging formula. So if you're dealing with reports that have aging, you want to know how many days have elapsed from a certain time period to the next period. What you want to do is put in today's date. So what you do is you hit equals today, open parentheses, close parentheses, equals, and that is today's date, June 16, 2017. And if you want to know how many days have elapsed from this date to this date, you click equals this cell minus this cell, and you get 13,681 days. Now let's say you want to know how many days have elapsed from this date to this date. What you want to do is click here minus this date, and you get 16 days. This is important if you want to know how many days a book has been checked out, when a report is due, how many days is left for a report, or when it's past due. This can be very powerful in your job if you have a situation that you need this in. The next thing I want to talk about is formatting cells, and formatting cells is another powerful tool in Excel. You can do so much with formatting. Let's say you want to highlight all these cells and you want to make them bold, and let's say you want to type in here beginning date, and you want to go ahead and change the direction of the text. You can change the direction of the degrees of the cell. You can go 15% high like that, and you can fill it in with a yellow color. You can click number, currency, alignment, and you can do wrapping text. I mean, we can go into this more, but I will do a whole video on just formatting cells. So here you can change the font, you can make it bold, italic, and change the size as well. You can do strike through, it will look like that. You can do superscript, subscript. So in our situation, we just want to do this, and you can make it look very cool. You can expand, make it bigger, smaller. So this is the top 10 things that I think you need in this workforce to be able to do well in your job. And if you get these skills, you can transfer them to any job you want to, and you'll be very sought after. Again, guys, if you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you. Bye-bye.